Hello, and welcome to my LeadCast podcast. And today I'm going to be talking to Bradley. What do you do for work?
I work in energy trading.
And what do you guys do?
We try to speculate on energy prices, natural gas and electricity, and take positions to try to use our company's capital to increase profits and profitability. So.
Okay, that sounds really complicated. So today we're going to be talking about something that affects everyone, even outside of business, which is planning and decision making. People usually think these things are just management terms, but we actually use them every day without realizing it. So today I've invited Bradley to talk about this and have some real conversations about planning and decision making and how it shows up in real life, work, school, even simple things. So yeah, do you think that you use those things in your job every day?
Yeah, so we have to do a lot of research and analysis to put positions on. We plan for market moves, and we have a lot of data that we accumulate and try to make our decisions based on information. Models that we might have, financial models, proprietary models. We use real-time data with things like weather and supply and demand of natural gas and electricity. So all that stuff goes into play where we try to plan for the future by looking at things that we know today.
Okay. And can you think of a time when not planning something caused a problem or stress?
Well, yeah, if we just go into the markets and we don't have a strategy and we don't have information and knowledge, then things will not end well for a trader, for positioning. So anytime we act without information, it generally doesn't end well.
Right. Okay. And do you think you make a lot of short-term plans or more like long-term plans?
Well, it's a little of both. The markets can be they can move very quickly in the short term, but positioning for the long term is always important. I think about if I had to break it out, I'd probably say it's 50-50. Probably short term is about 50% of what we try to do, and long term is about 50%. So they're both very important.
Okay. So another thing that we're going to talk about is goals and different types of plans. Goal setting, it gives people something clear to work towards. Do you think people work better when expectations are clear, or does it not really matter?
I think that people tend to work better with goal in mind. There isn't necessarily a thought out way to get there, but when people are told, like, we got to get from point A to point B, then at work, at least what I do, you have to come up with steps to get there. So goals are definitely important, timelines, but the actual steps to get there may vary.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, there are also different types of plans, like short-term, like daily tasks, and other long-terms, like where a company wants to be in a few years. It's kind of like school, planning your homework for tonight versus planning your whole semester. I would say they're both really important, like you said too. Um, yeah, and there's also decision making. Decision making is really connected to planning because once you have options, you have to choose one. Um, when you have an important decision to make, do you rely more on logic or like more on feelings?
Um, my market, it goes both ways because we have information that's always in my mind that I think about, but sometimes new information comes in, so you have to use experience and make decisions based on your feeling. So once again, I would say it's probably about 50-50. Half the time you're making decisions based on your feeling, half the time you're making decisions based on your knowledge that you've accumulated over many years. So it's a little bit of both.
Oh, yeah. I would agree. Most things are 50-50. Same with like logics and emotions. You have to use both of them. And business decisions, they're supposed to be more structured, but in real life we mix both. And same with business, I think we mix both, like you said. A bad decision can waste time, money, and create new problems. Why do you think people sometimes avoid planning or overthink a decision?
People sometimes will procrastinate and wait until the last minute to make their decisions. And if they don't have enough information, maybe they wait until they feel that they do, and maybe that information never really is available. A lot of things in business and what I do trading is you're never going to have perfect information. You're just going to be able to determine your choices based on historical knowledge and knowledge that you have currently with how the markets trade.
Okay, can you think of a time in particular when you had to plan and make a decision?
Yeah, I make decisions every day, and a lot of times the markets can be slow, so I might not have anything to do or need to do anything, but I'll plan for the future by continuing to learn, continuing to stay up to date with fundamental information, and when the opportunity arises, I'll be ready to make an informed and hopefully profitable decision.
Okay. Do you do a lot of like managing other people in what you do, or is it mostly just like technical and like data and stuff?
Yeah, I don't really manage people. I work with a team, a group of traders, and everybody's kind of working towards the same goal. But each trader works as an individual, even though we can communicate, and share information. Ultimately, at the end of the day, things are my choice and my decision, but I don't really tell people what to do.
Do other people's decisions affect you at work, or is it mostly just your decisions?
My decisions affect myself, but also, we work as a team. So if other people make poor decisions, it can affect the company, it can affect me. So yes, it definitely has play in it.
Okay. Do you think too many choices make decisions harder? Like if there's too many choices to pick from?
Yeah, we call it analysis or paralysis by analysis. If there's too much information, sometimes you don't know what to do. And I found it like after trading for so many years, sometimes you've seen the same thing happen, but you don't always get the same results. So you've got to be careful. And you don't always have perfect information, but the information that you have is not always, going to lead you to the right decision. A lot of it is based on feeling.
Right. And have you, like you said, you've seen poor decisions affect the workplace and groups? You've seen that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it can be poor management. It can just be other traders making bad decisions and losing money for the company. Other people not being prepared, not being informed. So that's why we kind of work, with a lot of information sharing, so that everybody kind of has the same information. And if people make poor decisions, and unfortunately, you won't make it as a trader, people will be let go and they'll have to move on.
Okay. So, decision making is very important, and choices are very important. Yeah.
Yeah, making decisions, based on the information that you have, and like I said, it's not always, answers aren't always apparent. My job is to try to determine what's going to happen before it happens, but based on information that I have in the present, I may or may not be wrong. Money management is a big part of what I do, so if I am wrong, then I need to realize it quickly on, and if I am right, then I let the profits run and hopefully do well for myself and for the company.
Right. So, strategic planning, how companies think ahead and prepare for the future instead of just reacting to problems. Like you said, you have to think and act before it gets worse, or else it'll probably be a worse outcome.
Yeah, as a trader, I always have to think ahead, not just for the next hour, but it could be for the next day, for the next week, for the next month. We have to think ahead and use information that we have, and just the experience that comes with being able to see certain situations, and have a feeling of what's going to happen in the future.
And how do you think managers set goals for employees?
I mean, our company, we've been around for a while, so we tend to have similar goals, but each year we're asked to probably make higher profitability. I tend to look at historical numbers, figures, and try to extrapolate what you're going to do next year, but most times they want you to do more and better next year.
They're always pushing you to do more, That's a lot of pressure, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I try to take one day at a time, and not get too far ahead of myself. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but one day at a time, and live in the moment and plan for the future is what I try to do.
Yeah, it kind of seems kind of like an endless cycle. If you're, how good can you do? Like, if you do this good, they're gonna want you to do better,
Yeah, it never ends. It's always a challenge, because things are always changing, especially in trading. So it's it's always a task to try to do better and to try to get more. But it's fun. It's challenging, but it's fun.
Do you think decision making is always fair in the workplace, and why or why not do you think it?
No, I mean, not necessarily. I think there's always a little bit of favoritism or personal relationships with managers. Sometimes people get along better with others, just by who they are, who they know. But overall, I've experienced a little bit here and there, but I haven't really let it bother me. If I think that I'm not being treated well, my company at least, there's a lot of human resources that you can talk to, and I haven't had a lot of issues with that.
Have you ever had to talk to human resources?
No, I mean, I haven't had many problems with people.
You've seen other people have problems with people?
Yeah, I mean, there have been cases where people have they're thinking of them either being harassed or treated unfairly. So our company has a pretty good chain that you can go up and complain without others knowing. So but I've not experienced anything of that nature myself.
Have you seen it like have a good outcome if people have gone to human resources, or do you think it's usually like people aren't happy with the outcome of it?
I mean, yeah, our company tends to do a pretty good evaluation and investigation if they feel like there's something that's unfair, or if there's somebody doing something they should be doing. You know, there's definitely repercussions, and there's investigation. So
Okay. What do you think? What do you think makes a manager's decisions easier or harder?
I mean, a manager's decisions, is just hard if they get too emotional with things. Sometimes they can be too involved in a situation and not necessarily do what's best for the company. They may feel certain loyalty to an employee that's not doing well, and so it can be difficult when you put your personal feelings ahead of business decisions.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I've experienced something like that. Like somebody at my job is always saying stuff about like how they want tips and how they want to like work at this certain position, and I feel like the manager gives into that complaining a lot and gives him all like the best hours at the position that he wants, so he can get the tips like Saturday, Friday nights as a cashier or whatever. And I feel like it kind of isn't fair to the people that don't complain, like me or whoever. Like they just kind of like some people just don't complain, and they hope that them just doing the right thing and not causing problems will make things work out for them. But at the end of the day, and people aren't good managers and they haven't really gone to school to be managers, just kind of in that position because they've kissed the boss's butt or whatever. I just feel like it's not fair. Some people shouldn't be managers, and I feel like it is important that people go to school to do those certain positions so they can learn how to do things properly and not just do things off of emotions. But yeah, how do you think HR rules or policies affect like employees and do you think that they affect people in day-to-day situations? Or
yeah, I mean, we have ethics code, and we have like a certain way we're supposed to do things, so everybody knows what's expected of them, whether it be financial implications or just how to treat other fellow employees. So for me, it's very apparent what is right and wrong, and we get a lot of direction, but a lot of it is just what's right and wrong.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to like hire somebody or anything, any managing kind of?
I do interviews and stuff. I mean, I'm not a hiring manager, but I'll put recommendations for people. Like, I'll interview people and say, hey, this guy seems like a good candidate. I like him. I like her. Or, so that does come into play. You're asked to kind of contribute over time.
Do you feel like it's a lot of pressure to be in a managing position?
Yeah, it can be. I'm not necessarily in a management position. I've kind of had the same job title for most of my career, which I manage my positions. I don't manage people, but there are different types of management. We have people that manage people, managers, executive VPs, where I manage myself and I manage the position that I have, but I don't manage others. And I don't necessarily want to go that route. Like some people are good at managing others, and some people are good at just being a good worker and staying in the lane. So that's the route that I've chosen. And I can get to where I want to be just doing that.
So you think it's more simple to just manage yourself than it is you think it's more complicated to manage other people?
I mean, for myself, it is, yeah.
That's good. That you know what works for you.
Yeah, not everybody is a manager of people. Some people just like to manage themselves, manage finances, manage things that they can control.
Yeah. Well, to wrap things up, planning and decision making aren't just about business. You know, we have to use it every day in life too. Good planning can reduce stress and make better decisions. Um, Last question: can you think of like a time in real life where you've had to like plan and make decisions?
I mean, at work, or are you talking about
In real life too.
Oh, I mean, all the time we have to make decisions to get, plan ahead for appointments and to get people places, vacations, to get everybody, what they want, and to get people places. Same things at work. You have to manage your workload, and you have to manage, your career, where you want to go, manage your education. It all kind of everything kind of comes together.
Right. Well, thank you for being on my podcast.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Bye.